I went in like way over my head. I tried to make like 9, like a big collection for my second thing. And I was shipping it all from my dorm, which, which they actually got mad at me about. They're like, that's illegal to do that, right? And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, stop sending giant DHL boxes here, dude.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Jesse Nyberg Podcast. Today we're here with Gavin South, super talented designer who makes a bunch of cool clothes and art, a ton of other stuff. How you doing, man?
I'm honestly really nervous, if I'm being honest.
Yeah?
I don't want to mess this up. I only got one shot. Why? I can't mess it up. I just don't want to watch it back and think that I sound like a weirdo. So I'm going to try and be as normal and cool and just sick as possible.
I mean, you being a weirdo, I feel like is probably part of like your biggest asset to all this stuff that you've developed out there.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Didn't know you thought I was a weirdo either, though. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, I don't even know why I'm doing this either.
I'm messing it up already. Can we restart? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like, I feel you though, man. Like, even sometimes people ask me like, oh, how are you used to, like hearing yourself talk or whatever, like doing all this shit all the time. And then I always tell them like, I'm not, like, it doesn't really like,
I've never seen a single episode back.
Yeah. Like I have to watch it to edit it, but it's like, I'm the same way. I probably wouldn't watch it if I went on someone else's thing. I'd just be like, hopefully it's good,
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yep.
But I think people are more, like usually that people sway like more insecure about themselves than they actually are. Like usually when they're worried, that's a good thing because they actually care about like what they're doing. And it means that they were thinking about it and usually ends up being fine,
Yeah, that's true. I guess if you're like overly confident, you could come out here and just be like a total jackass. So it's keep it in, rein it in.
Right. Even with like design and art and stuff too. Like I found like, I like being somewhere in the middle. Like I find some people are a little bit too much like self-deprecating or like insecure about stuff that it kind of makes me uncomfortable because they're just like, oh, I suck or whatever, even if they're really good.
Like I feel like I should leave the room. I feel like I shouldn't be listening to this. It's getting weird.
And then other people are so confident. You're kind of just like, damn, like good for you. But like, that's crazy. I don't know how you're able to do that.
That's funny. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. You see a lot of both from doing this. Like you see a lot of like super overconfident people and like more power to you. I just can't be me.
I feel like that happens a lot more, especially within like, like fashion and streetwear and stuff like that. Cause everyone wants to be like Kanye 100%. Or like Virgil or something like that,
Yeah. A lot of people think they are.
Yeah. For what have you kind of been working on this week? Or what have you been up to?
I've just been kind of chilling at home. My girlfriend has an actual job now, so she goes to work super early, and I've just been doing like chores and shit, just like being like a housewife. But I've been painting these hats. I painted this one, and then I got those back there. I set up a little Gavin shrine back there to reference sometimes. But yeah, I've just been like doing like more custom stuff. I'm working on this little wallet. It's the Imran potato wallet. Just like painting like fun stuff again. Feels good.
Do sometimes you do like some painted stuff or one-of-one stuff for someone or yourself, and then that kind of develops into like something you'll make into an actual product or something? Yeah,
I mean, that's how it kind of all started. I bought fake Air Forces off of ioffer.com. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a really like shitty it's like Alibaba, but like really bad knockoff stuff. So I bought these Air Forces for like $15 because I didn't have any money. And I painted the design where kind of like this. It's like a head turn graphic going across. And I did that for a few people like on some other Nike shoes. And then I made the first bootleg monkey cat shoe. I'm not going to say what it really is just to not incriminate myself more, but the shoe with the star on it, my first shoe that I did that same graphic, and then it kind of, people started posting it like on those archive pages and stuff like that, and it kind of ended up, I like accidentally became like a fashion designer. I didn't really know. I mean, like I like sneakers and stuff, but I didn't really know anything about fashion until that happened. And I kind of, that was successful. And then I just kept doing more stuff. So, yeah.
It's funny that what you say about like, don't say the thing or whatever, because even the thing is like just based off another thing. It's interesting how it's all it's just stupid. Like evolutionary.
People might be like, you're stupid for like not wanting to say it, because it's that whole thing, the bootleg star shoe thing is kind of big right now. Like everyone's fucking doing them. Like this is a Scooby-Doo one and this is a fucking this. So I feel like they are kind of getting on more people's ass recently. So
it's just so hard, like to, you know, with the Air Force One, like it's so kind of iconic, but also like canvas like it can be changed so much into something that like is your own, that it makes it such an easy target for that. Because if you want to customize a different type of shoe, a lot of other shoes already have so much like character and stuff built into them that it's hard to not like look at it as that shoe even after you change it up, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like doing like different kind of shoes. I used to only do like Air Forces and like white Nike shoes, but I find like having more fun with like different like weirder shoes, or you know, just to make something that looks like people are like, whoa, you painted on this XYZ shoe. A lot of people are like, you ruined it, but it's just either way it's cool. I feel like,
I mean, some of the best stuff I feel like is usually like polarizing like that. If it doesn't evoke like extreme emotion, it's probably like kind of all right, you know, it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that's very true.
Where do you live at? I was curious about that.
I'm in Brooklyn, New York right now.
Oh, okay. New York? Okay. I thought you were somewhere in like the Midwest for some reason.
I mean, I was born in Texas, so that's not Midwest, but you know, kind of same shit. Right. I was born in Dallas, like Dallas Fort Worth area. Oh, okay. And yeah, I don't really like it down there too much. I mean, no hate to Dallas, but it's just kind of like shitty. It's a lot cooler over here.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I always wondered how it was to move from like somewhere like that or in the middle to like, you know, LA or New York or something, because I've always lived in like Southern California, so I don't really have like, I wasn't like in LA City my whole life, but I was definitely always like 30-45 minutes
you could get
away
there
from it
anytime. Yeah,
so I always wondered how like much of a culture kind of like shift that is when you go to those new places, because I don't really know, because it's just normal to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is definitely a culture shock. Like it's way different. There's just more people. There's people everywhere. You talk to more people like on the street. Where I'm from in Dallas, it was like everyone's kind of doing, I think just by the fact that it's so big and spread apart, you don't really talk to too many people. And it's kind of just like I feel like it's kind of dystopian when I go back now, because it's just like, God, I can't even like really put my finger on like how it is, but it's just so it's like small town to like a big city, you know, like classic stuff. Like I told someone here at one time that I'm from Texas, and they're like, whoa, do you like it here? Or they're like, I was like, yeah, dude, I love it here. I fucking don't like it there. But
yeah, that can go one way or the other, I guess. But usually if you're living in New York and you're from Texas, I can't imagine you liked it, because why would you go to New York? That's like the
the opposite. You know? Yeah.
Unless maybe you're from like Austin or something, is probably like an exception. But
yeah, Austin's like fine. No, it's not shit talking Austin either, but it's like, yeah, especially recently, I feel like it's getting like a little more annoying. Everyone thinks it's like the shit, and it's not. Bro, I swear to God, it's not. San Antonio in Texas is really cool. I lived there for like a few months. That's where my girlfriend's from. There's a lot of shit going on there. Everyone's like nicer. The community's cool, and there's a lot of cool stuff to do. And Austin's just was kind of like shitty. Like I don't know. It's bad. I got my cat there from Austin. There was a crackhead selling cats like peanuts at a baseball game. He was like, kittens for sale. And then I fucking bought one like a jackass. And I still have her. Her name's Boba. Over there is my other cat. Her name is Lily, and she can't move. She's paralyzed.
What?
I know.
From what?
What? Yeah. She used to be really fat, and she jumped off of like a high. She's kind of old too. I think she's 10 now. She jumped off of like a higher level and then messed up her foot, so it was always kind of like bent inwards like this. And then I think that pain, the nerve damage spread like to her spine, and now like none of her limbs can really move. So you have to like,
that's crazy,
help her go to the bathroom, and it's crazy. It's a crazy
Damn.
It's a crazy
You love
life.
that thing then, if you're able to do all that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Like that's sometimes cool. I pick her up and she starts pooping, and then I pick her up and I take her to the bathroom, and then she starts peeing all in the shower, and it's like I'm just like letting it go everywhere, writing my name with it. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's like some shit out of like a shitty like comedy movie, you know? That would happen. Yeah, for real. So I guess then you loving cats like that, does that have any relation to like creating the Glenn like type character?
Yeah. Well, I made Glenn when I was 16. And I didn't have, I'm 22 now, just for reference, but I didn't even have a cat at that point. I had a cat when I was like a little kid, but she ran away before I even like really knew her. But I just liked drawing this cat, I guess. It was like his head, he was a lot more scraggly when I was younger, and then he has this giant like red, like kind of floaty type things, and then it just kind of went from there. But I didn't really get my own cat until the crackhead in Austin. The disabled cat is my girlfriend's cat that we brought in from her old house. But that was the other cat, her name is Boba, the crackhead cat. Then that's like my first real one. But now I love them. Yeah. So kind of built my way into the cat world.
So ever since you were a kid drawing the Glenn character, it basically like you've just stuck with it and it's kind of refined over the years all the way till now? It became like a comfort thing to draw, and like so like something that I can always fall back on, which it still is obviously, but like it was just so like just drawing shape, because I would just draw shapes a lot, and then circle just two circles and then a big inner tube, and it was just easy to draw, easy to move him around. Like when I wasn't too good at animation, I got animated. I started animating, not really, when I was like 14, and I like pirated like Flash and stuff, and was doing like lip sync tutorials on YouTube. And I think I made one of my brother being like, "I'm a dumbass." Yeah, that's the first Gavin South animation. But there you go.
Huge tangent there, but yeah.
That's cool. Do you ever think that you said that you can always do the cat, like do you ever feel like that's a bad thing, that you can always do the cat, like it stops you from maybe trying other stuff?
Yeah, all the time, to be honest. I mean, I remember when I first went to I went to Pratt Institute, which is a college in Brooklyn, an art school. And the first day I had drawing class, we did like figure drawing. And I was like, I am a piece of shit. Like, I am just so terrible. Because all these other kids are just busting it out like crazy. We pin all of our stuff up after we do it. And I'm like, this isn't for me. Like, maybe I'm not good enough. But I really like fucking like cracked down to learn. And I still feel like I'm not too good at that. But I feel like I was kind of using the cat and all of like my animation, like cartoony style, like as a crutch. Like I could like animate, which kind of set me apart, but you aren't animating fucking like nude drawing. It's just a whole nother beast. It's so crazy. Right.
What was your degree for?
2D animation. But the first year you go there, everyone has to do like fundamental classes. Right. So I was like painting for I'd never painted before. So like mixing colors was frustrating, like trying to get like the right colors and all this stuff that everyone else, like kids went to like art high schools, which I didn't even know was a thing. And so they already have all this like fundamental understanding, or they're like exchange, like Chinese like exchange students, and they're just fucking like baller. They're just crazy
Right.
good, like
Yeah, like
prodigies.
get down on still lifes and shit, like going
Yeah,
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, I had the same experience like in when I was in school for design. Like, I'm not very good at like drawing like that and like realistic or like still lifes or figure drawing or any of that. And in the beginning, you have to take all the like studio classes like that. And I remember like my first 2 years just like hating that and then being like, wait till we get to like the design shit that I'm finally gonna be able to like be like getting down on the critiques and shit and being like,
Yeah.
well, check out this like typography or whatever. And because I was always doing design even before I got into the program. But I remember just being like, I swear, like I'm not this bad at everything. Like that's the feeling I had when I would present the like drawings.
Exactly the same thing for me. I was waiting because we also had like a computer, like motion graphic class where we did like After Effects and stuff. And in that class, I was like, okay, now let me flex. But
Yeah.
I was just waiting to get to like animation stuff, and yeah, that's funny. It was like the exact same thing.
It goes both ways too. There was the people that, and then we got to the thing. I was like, oh, you don't know how to use Illustrator? Like, let me show you a thing or two.
I know,
even though
I'm
they
like-
were super good. And then like some people
Oh, y'all
though,
don't
like
really get this? Just kind of switch up completely.
some people though, like they were just good. Like they did that, and then we got to the design and they were good too. And I was like, damn, this
That
person's a
hurt.
god.
Those hurt the most.
Yeah, they're like unicorns. They could
Yeah,
do it all.
they don't know the programs either. I've never used it before, but they're just incredible.
Yeah. When you were a kid, did you always want to be like an artist or something like that? Or when you were growing up, what was your kind of dream?
When I was young, like young, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, I kind of dropped that pretty soon. All my friends in elementary school would do like graffiti. So
Okay.
we were all doing like graffiti pretty big back then. Like doing like actual graffiti, but also just doing it like in sketchbooks and like,
Black books and shit.
yeah, black books. Yep. I had
Yeah.
a YouTube channel. My name was Bloody Unicorn. That was my that was my tag. But then I started doing like in high school and stuff. I started getting into like I did drumline like really heavy, so I was drumming a lot, and that was like all I did. And then at the end, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna go back to art. But I was doing like animation a little bit like in middle school, and like when I said like pirating like Flash and stuff, and I still worked on it sometimes in high school, but I was really just drumming my ass off all the time. But I came back around full circle to stand-up
Now that-
comedian. No, just kidding.
There you go. Now that you mainly do art, are you the type of person that kind of like when you're into something or like something's your career or hobby, like you're really like all about it? Like that's kind of all you do? Like instead of drumming, now it's like the painting and drawing
Yeah.
and everything?
Yeah, I'm obsessive for sure. I feel like I should always be doing it, and it's also hard when it becomes your career. Like now that
Yeah.
it's been my like main source of like money and everything. It's been my whole life for like a few years now.
Yeah.
And so it gets kind of hard to try to do anything else when I feel like I always have to be doing something. Like I feel like I can't ever just like chill and like
Right.
play video games or do like some other shit. I don't know, but I feel like I always have to be like working. But I like doing it also, so it works both ways.
I feel the same way. And like I don't think it's good to like justify like, oh well, I like it, like it's good. 'Cause
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
definitely like I get burnt out sometimes too, but it's hard when it's the hobby and the career because I'll design on like a project or something, and then when I'm done, like I'll just work on like some of my own shit. But like to an outside person, it looked like I'm just working all day, but it's like two different things. So like to
Yeah,
me, I'm
two
like, no, this
different
is like
kinds of
the
work.
fun shit, you know?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
was like I talked about this last podcast, I think, but there was this meme I used to always like. It was like at work all day on a bad screen, go home to a good screen, and it was
Yeah,
just like the
yeah.
same shit basically.
Do you work from home most of the time, or do you go to a place and no, you're from home?
Yeah, I used to work like as an employee. I used to work at an agency where I did like movie posters and stuff, like Hollywood like type
Nice.
like shit like that, and it was all right. But
Yeah,
you learn
I kinda
quickly why
figured you would
every
say that.
movie poster looks like it has those big heads and shit, because that's all they ever want. But And then I worked as like a designer for an actual company that sold like products and stuff. And then now I'm just a freelancer. So I work from home. But even when I was at one of those companies, the past, like it was COVID. So we've been all on the like remote shit for a while. I like it. I think the only con is what we're talking about is the separation between like, when do I not work type of vibe.
Yeah, 100%. Like I was in college. I did my first shoe drop, and then I had another like bit. I went in like way over my head. I tried to make like 9, like a big collection for my second thing, and I was shipping it all from my dorm, which which they actually got mad at me about. They're like, that's illegal to do that, right? And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, stop sending giant DHL boxes here, dude. I'm like, okay. But then I started shipping out in March of 2020, which is not a good month of 2020.
Right.
And I was just it was spring break, so everyone left. I was gonna stay there and start shipping out stuff. But then they were like, everybody has to leave. So like they're kicking you can't stay in the dorms anymore. So I have like probably like 10 big ass trash bags of packages that I have to ship out. And I'm sitting there trying to get like a USPS driver to come up, and then I'm just standing outside freaking out, like breaking down. I eventually did get them shipped out. I had to put them all in an Uber, take them to a friend's apartment, and then they shipped everything out to me. I don't know why I just said all that. What was the root of what we're talking about? Oh, the separation, right?
Oh, yeah.
So after that, I went home back to Texas, and then that was my sophomore year of college. And then from sophomore year to like senior year, I was just at home completely, just working at home. And that's when I did like some of my biggest like drops. So it became like a full-time thing. It was just really weird that most of my like artistic career, like real career, has been just like at my house. Or I mean, now I'm here, but I still don't leave my house really.
Right. If this is like you said, obviously it's your main like kind of income now. And I know you do like, you have like a brand technically and stuff now. So when you release stuff, like when you do drops, like in between those drops, like, are you just living off the money from before? Or are you doing other stuff to kind of like supplement that?
No, I just live off of whatever drop I did or, pretty much. Yeah. Just,
is it pretty easy to like plan that out?
I mean, honestly, I haven't really planned out like anything from like this whole time. I've been I just got an accountant finally. And, so I'm starting to get more like businessy with it and pay taxes and all that stuff, which is not cool, not fun. But I've just been kind of like, I'm trying to do more like big drops now and not do so much filler in between. But normally it'll sustain me for, however long I need it to.
That's dope. And then in between, you're just kind of doing a lot of the concepting and painting your own personal stuff and whatnot.
Yeah. Or working on the next thing and getting samples made. And because that whole process takes a while too. Getting samples, changing stuff, getting more samples, and then getting like a full production made and ready to go.
Do people hit you up for like commissions and stuff, like one-of-one pieces and things?
Yeah. People hit me up for that stuff, but I don't do them that often unless it's on like a cool shoe or like something that like I can show and share and that will like gain like some attention towards me too. But I'm trying to do more commissions, so I might put it out there that I'm down to do whatever at this point. Because as I said, I'm just doing chores all the time around the house. So I need to be making more stuff.
Yeah. When did you first decide to start making like the clothes then? Because I know you said you started just like with the 2D design stuff and like animation and whatnot, and then this kind of fell into your lap by accident, you said. Like what was the kind of like first like big thing where you're like, oh shit, I guess this is what I'm doing from now on?
It was the first, the bootleg, the monkey cat shoe is what I called it. I did that one, or I designed it for like, cause I did actually before that, I tried to do a shoe drop because I was painting shoes a lot for like people I knew, and more people were kind of reaching out to me. I didn't even have an Instagram yet, but on Twitter, people would reach out and do shoes. And I would charge like $50 for them, which is like kind of crazy thinking back. But
right.
So I was painting a lot of shoes, and I made this whole commercial with this design I was going to do. I animated some of the commercial. I was like, I'm only selling 40 pairs. It was on like a Nike Ebernon low because I couldn't afford Air Force Ones. So you order the shoe, I paint it for you, and then I send it out. I think I sold one pair, and it was to like my mom's friend who was just trying to like make me feel better. So it was a complete failure. And it was after my freshman year in college. That same summer, I had an iMac that I shipped from New York to Texas, and it got lost in the mail. Like I just never got it. So I was just down like tremendously bad. I'm like, I'm a fucking failure. And then I started making the monkey cat shoe. I started designing them because I saw some guy on Reddit. I think his name is James E. Morgan. He kind of, I feel like he kind of started the whole bootleg star thing. He did Travis Scott fucking like a Travis Scott star shoe, and I was like, oh, how the fuck did you make that? And he's like, I forgot, there was some kind of transaction for me to get the information, like the manufacturer information. But I got it. I started designing. I think I made 6 samples of them, and it was like $1,200, which is like all the money I had. And I started posting like every single step of the process on Instagram, and people like Undercover Osh, which is he's a dude who does like archive stuff, and he's a really nice guy. He posted my shoes first, and he didn't tag me, and I actually got really pissed off at him. But then we talked it out, and he's been like a super big supporter ever since. But he posted them, and I just started getting like some more like traction from that. And then I sold them. I think, Ass Pizza hit me up and wanted a pair like pretty early. And he bought them too. He's a super nice dude. So I sent them to him, and he kind of helped like put it out there more. And then I sold like 200 pairs of those. Like that was like my first drop. And after that, I was like, shit, maybe I should keep doing this, because that was crazy. Yeah, I really like those still. I was actually going to do them again. I redid the graphic and stuff because I just feel like I'm better like at drawing than I was. And I was getting them sampled, and I don't know if you know Jose Wong. He does a bunch of like bootleg stuff. He's really good. But he was like, that manufacturer just got arrested and is in jail right now, and they confiscated his whole factory. And I was like, cool.
You know, you said that when you first did them on the other Nike shoes, and like it kind of flopped and you lost your laptop and all that. I remember hearing someone talk about like those moments, like the fact that you were just like, you still were like, all right, let's do this other one now, or like, let's do this other thing. Yeah. That is like more important, they say, than like any other thing in like terms of how you can become like successful. Like it's not like just how talented you are, or like your connections or your network, but like if you're willing to like fail that hard and be like, that was cool, like let's do this next thing, and have that like what do they call it, like grit or whatever. That is like what separates like someone that is gonna like do something and not, because it's so easy to be like, well, I guess I suck and not do anything ever again. Like that's such an easy option. And like that's good that you did that, because then now we're talking, because you would have been who knows what. Yeah, you have to really be like a fucking like a workhorse. Like you have to treat it like a fucking like a real job or some kind of other trade where you just work nonstop at it. Or else you can be super good, but if you're not like always trying to do something, nothing will happen, because nothing's happening. Like you're not doing anything. But yeah, it was bad for a little bit, but I mean, also at that point you're like, I failed so hard. I didn't really lose anything, but it was a flop. And
you have nowhere to go but up. So like it can't get worse than that. So
exactly. When what was the first thing you made that like wasn't that was more like, I guess, from scratch type thing, like a first like object or customized type thing after you made the shoes?
The first thing that's really like the big thing I did was that figure that's back there, the bowl, the vinyl toy that I made with cadmium. Yeah, but I've been working on that for over a year at this point, like sampling and losing a lot of money and just like trying to get it right. And then we made 300 of them just ready to go before we dropped it. So it was a huge project. That's probably the biggest thing, I'd say.
That's dope. I really liked the one that you gave away or whatever with the big ass legs that were.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of people like that one too. Dope. That like the book holder or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be cool to make now that you have the experience with the like actual toy or figure or whatever you want to call it. It'd be sick to make like a big ass one. Just like
that would be awesome.
A 1 to 5 scale or some shit. Or
yeah,
1
that'd
to 1.
Be crazy.
What was the process like making that bowl?
Yeah, it's a fucking very hard process and very expensive. Like making toys is at least vinyl toys is very, very expensive. I remember I did the first long legs guy and then the bowl right there. We were going to do 2 of them, but you have to pay for like a mold to be made. And the samples are like $800 each. It's like ridiculous, but, yeah, it's a huge process. And then making the boxes, I actually had a pretty good time making the box. But yeah, it's a really like expensive, long process. And I've talked to people who do like clothes and stuff, and they try to break into the like houseware or like home goods or toys, vinyl toys, and it just completely like flops because people don't, like, I get that people don't want to buy, like, you're buying clothes from someone or shoes and then they're like, oh, it's a figure. Like, no, I don't want that. But they did pretty good. I have got about 100 left if anyone wants to get one.
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah, thank you, man.
What was it like? Where were you at in the, I guess, so you have the idea and the drawing and stuff and the concept for the bowl, and then cadmium is obviously created like the 3D render, right? Were you guys working together the whole time, or did you come to him with like everything kind of drawn up?
Well, I mean, he did some renders for me like way before I started. I just talked to him. He said it like that was one of the first ones he's done of like another like Instagram like creator. So that was kind of cool. But we went in like a full kind of like collaborative like partnership like throughout the whole thing. Like we both fronted like half the money for the whole thing. We would go back and forth. We did an animation together to like promote it. So we would get on like Discord and talk about that. But I think the overall idea, I just sketched something up and then sent it to him, and then he made it look like really good. And I just wanted it to be like functional and not just like a figure that I'll just sit and like collect dust, but something that you can like, it's like a key holder or a fucking whatever you want to use it for. But yeah, that was kind of the overall. I just wanted it to be like useful. And then he really took it to the next level.
That's dope. He seems to have kind of become like the almost guy. Like industry standard for like getting a 3D like thing created in real life.
Yeah, 100%. He's he makes figures with everyone. It seems like it's really crazy.
I think I found out about him when he did like the big ass shit for like Hypeland, like the big ass Yu-Gi-Ohs and ass like Hello Kitty blocks and stuff. And I just remember being like, who the fuck made this? Like, these are crazy.
Crazy, yeah. Hypeland is cool. The guy who owns it, Jordan, he's pretty cool. I asked about this is totally random, but the Hello Kitty thing, I was like, how do you go about like licensing like a collaboration with Hello Kitty? And he's like, it's just really, 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 really fucking expensive. And I was like, okay, maybe it's worth it just to do it, not say anything.
Yeah, because their whole thing is like basically run off that now, like licensing with other like animes. But I feel like most people like do it like on the low, and then like it works out or it gets too popular that the people are like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But he was able to kind of, it seems like, do it on the low and then transition it into like the real deal
I just
type
think
thing.
that's so cool when that happens.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. Because it's a win-win for the company. If it works.
Yeah. So I feel like companies don't get that sometimes, but it's really cool when even like a big company can see like a smaller person using their stuff and be like, let's just give it to you. You know, like Slumpy Kev does the same thing. Like now he's actually partnered with Cartoon Network just from painting these like characters on jeans for so long. They gave him, he's like an artist in residence there, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's dope. I think I've seen his stuff before, like on the jeans and stuff, like Ed and Eddie and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's dope. Is there anything that you like, if there was a company like that you could collaborate on like a collection with, is there anything you'd be like, would be like kind of the holy grail for you in working with?
I mean, I think Sanrio, like Hello Kitty, is pretty good. That's pretty big. Just like, I like really like cutesy kind of thing. So I think I would like excel working with those characters. Yeah. I think that's dope. Probably the holy grail.
So cool to see like the Glenn in that style lined up with like the Cinema Roll and all the other like little fools.
It would just like just fit in, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. With mostly working in like kind of static and physical spaces that you have been, and then doing this big like animation, was that like a hard kind of process to work on that?
Yeah. It was my senior like thesis film for college, so I mean, I was working on it all the time, like I probably worked on it for like a year and a half, just like straight. But towards the end of it, towards the deadline, is when it really started to get like pretty fucked up. Like for the last 3 months, I'd say we would just be up till like 5 a.m. and then you get up at 9 and you work on it all day. And I'm just doing like bong rips all the time. I'm not even like alive. I'm just like floating and it was terrible. It was really bad. But I really love how it came out, so it was worth it. You turn into like a machine, I feel like, with animation, because it just takes so long. It's so tedious, especially like frame by frame and like hand drawn, like traditional 2D animation. It takes just so long, but it's like really rewarding when it ends up coming out how you like it.
Yeah, when you sent me it, I remember you were like, I'm just saying this thing or whatever. I didn't really know what to like kind of expect, and I remember watching, I was like, this shit's crazy, man. Like that shit was dope. You definitely killed it. And like I just remember thinking, not even knowing like the full kind of workflow, but I imagine in my head watching it like, damn, this shit took forever. I already know. Like you could just tell
from like writing it to doing storyboards, and then you pass those storyboards off and you get notes and then you edit them. It was originally, when I made it, it was like 6.5 minutes, the first like cut. So like the story goes through a lot of changes to get it like the most understandable, and it's a lot more than I've ever done for like an animation before. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people like said, like when they watch it, they thought, they're like, I didn't know what to expect, but this shit was actually really crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really like talk about like animating too much, but it's kind of cool to just come out with that and just surprise people, I guess. Yeah.
How do you look at like kind of the 2D like animation degree in terms of like what you're going to do from now on? Is it just going to be like kind of an asset in the Gavin South like universe rather than you get a job as like a designer somewhere or something?
I mean, I definitely am open to working for like a studio in some capacity. It's just hard. There's not a lot of like job openings right now for like animation and stuff, but also I feel like I am reluctant to even get into that because I'm like self-sufficient. Like I don't have to do that, but I want to be able to go into the industry at least to see what's happening and like what I can kind of take from that to use in my own thing. And like I guess the end goal, or like one of the end goals, is to have like a like my own studio. And me and my girlfriend and a couple of friends have been like talking about doing like just making our own stuff. But yeah, I would definitely like to know more like logistics and like how the like pipeline works for like a real show, stuff like that. But I'm definitely open to it, but I don't want to do like a job that's like advertising animation. It's kind of different. I would really want to work on like TV, like television. Adult Swim's like the main goal one day, but yeah.
Right. It's hard, like with, you know, the coolest shit ever. Usually you work on like a big team like that, but then you give up, like you're just a part of it, you know, like it's not really like Adult Swim made it, not Gavin. So it's a lot less like rewarding in that aspect, but it's also rewarding because you're like, yo, I made fucking, I'm trying to think of whatever, Squidbillies or some random show, you know,
for
whatever.
some reason, that was the first one that came to my mind too. I don't know why.
Yeah. I was just thinking of being like tired at like 2 a.m. as a kid watching when Adult Swim would come on, trying to think of a show.
Just in a trance, like, what the fuck is this?
This is like kind of random now. I was going to ask you it earlier, but has the like purple theme always been a big thing throughout your whole kind of art?
No, I used to do before I really did like the cat so much, like Glenn, I would do, I would draw like exclusively with Sharpies, and I would use like 50 million colors. So I would always just use like a ton. I try to do like psychedelic looking stuff.
Oh, okay.
But, after I like found purple, like how I saw how it looked, I just like, now I love purple, fucking like everything. I think I've kind of come into that color a lot, but yeah.
Why do you name the cat Glenn?
I don't know why I did that. It's a weird name. Glenn with 2 N's. It's maybe it's because it started with a G and I didn't want it to be Gavin. But Glenn is just like a random name, and there's honestly no meaning behind it. But yeah.
I like it because it's just like so like, it's so normal.
Yeah. It's like hyper normal.
Like juxtaposition, Jesus Christ, juxtaposition with like how kind of creative and weird the character acts and does. Yeah. It's funny that it's just Glenn, you know?
Yeah. I've thought about that too. Definitely.
It reminds me of the people that have pets where their pet is like a very human name.
Yeah,
like
this is my pet John.
Bill. Yeah. It's so like, I kind of like it though. It's better than everyone being like, this is like Rocco or Shadow or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is refreshing meeting a John the dog.
Yeah. After doing a lot of kind of fashion stuff and experiencing like doing drops and shipping and kind of all these different facets of this kind of like industry, what is some kind of advice that you would give someone who's trying to get into that stuff now that could maybe help with like their journey along the way?
I'd say just really make sure you have like a design that you like. Like I'd say at first, if it's your first thing, like really take time to make sure your design is like what you want. And then figure out measurements of stuff that you like shirts or whatever, pants or shoes that you like, and provide just as much information. I'd say use Alibaba. You can literally make whatever you want on there. People will shit on Alibaba, but it's people who don't know how good it is. It's like you can find really good stuff or really good manufacturers on there for pretty much whatever you want. But yeah, just be ready to do more like business negotiating and like talking to manufacturers and a lot of like logistical shit more of that than designing, unless you like want to hire someone else to do that. But like shipping is if you're doing it yourself, it's a hassle. Yeah, it's a lot dealing with manufacturers, dealing with like money and ad marketing and stuff. It's marketing still to me is like the worst part, because I'm like, I already made it, like now I gotta show you guys that it's good. Like it's a lot of stuff that is harder than it seems, for sure. Like The designing is the fun part. So make sure you got like designs you really like, but also be ready to do a whole lot of stuff that's not designing, you know?
Right. Do you think being able to navigate all the kind of business stuff and all that is what separates the people that kind of make it versus like just having a good design and whatnot?
Yeah. There's a ton of great designers that like do really good stuff, but I feel like a lot of designers will either like, you can, if you want to do it yourself, I'm just saying you got to be ready to take on like all that other stuff too. You can be a designer for like other brands and stuff, and you can just do designing, which is cool. But if you want to kind of like take it into your own, like do your own stuff, then you got to kind of be a one man band.
Right. Is there anything that you're coming out with soon that you can talk about, or any plans you have for some next stuff?
Yeah. I got those shoes over there. Can I grab them real quick?
Yeah. Okay. Pants reveal.
All right. I got these shoes. They're based off that animation. I just released the animation, but this is they're suede shoes. They're like kind of chunky. They got a big tongue.
Those are sick.
Thank you. Here's the back of it right there with the name.
Oh, I like that.
And then I finally did like there you go.
Oh, okay.
Like my own like sole to the bottom of it.
Is that difficult? The sole part?
Yeah, because you got to get a mold, and then I have that little cat head on the side.
That's tight.
Thank you. And then I did this pair in like a brown colorway. They're both suede and embroidery, and
I think those are the ones I was messaging you about.
Yeah. I sent you these. And I even got these like insoles.
Sick.
Yeah, so it's like the first like mostly custom thing. Like we went back and forth with this like curve on here and this shape of it. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about those. But they're based off of the film that I just did, so kind of like a 2-in-1 thing. So if you know about the film, the animated film, then I feel like it'll add like another level of like likability to it, but also I feel like they just kind of look sick. So
yeah, I think it's like a cool inside thing, but they're cool either way. Is that the next? So like that'll be your next kind of collection. Those two
definitely.
Shoes?
I want to sell them for like cheap, like not cheap, but like 120 or something like on the lower end. So more people can grab them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get those tan ones. Those are fire.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
I always feel that way. Like it sucks, man, because I'm an advocate for people wanting to like do their thing, and I know how hard it is to like design stuff and make stuff and market it. And I want like that is cheap. Like I know that might not sound cheap, but especially for like something that you're doing at like a small brand custom.
Yeah.
But whenever I want people to charge like a lot, but then like when they do, I'm always like, I want you to get that bag, but like I'm gonna have to pass on this one because I'm not gonna spend 500
that's kind of
right
what
now.
It is. You got to sacrifice what you think you might deserve for what you're actually gonna get. Because like I did my last shoe. I don't have it, but I did it last like October, and I charged $200 for it, which is like not too much for a shoe, but I thought that I deserved more, so I charged more for it, and it didn't sell as well as the shoes that I sold for like $145. So you gotta. There is a middle ground of and I think it's always better to sell things a little bit cheaper, not cheaper, but a little bit more like understandable, so people can actually buy it. Because if it's expensive, you can be like, oh, it's worth that much, I'm sure, and I can agree with that, but I'm not going to be buying it. So you got to do it so where people are like, oh, that's cool, and I'm going to buy it for myself,
Right. And yeah, like that's a pretty good price because there's stuff. I mean, shoes have been getting so expensive in the last like 5-10 years that even like retail, just random like releases from any of the big companies like
Yeah.
get up there now, and they're not even like
Yeah.
rare or anything. It's just their normal
normal
kind
shoes
of
for like
blank or
160. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so that's dope. Do you have any do you know when you're gonna release those, or is it just kind of in the works right now?
I'm thinking hopefully like October, I think. I don't have a specific date. I haven't even shown these to anyone yet. Like I haven't posted it or anything, so I got to do that first, but I'm hoping October or something, and I'll probably just open up a pre-order on them, because it's really hard to have shoes pre-made and ready to go. It's such a big thing to have pre-made, because the like toys are easy, because, well, not easy, I mean it's still a big risk, but it's you get one thing, there aren't options. But with shoes you have a bunch of different sizes, and you got to make molds for each of if you're doing custom soles. So I think people understand, like at least people who like follow me understand that, but you still can get a lot of people that get like pissed off that you're not Amazon. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of I feel like that whole like independent fashion scene, it's become pretty industry standard to know like it's probably going to take a while, and like
yeah, definitely
there's some of it's justifiable, and then other people I'm just like, why do people keep buying shit from you? Every time I see their story, they're like, my bad, I'll get it in 4 months to you or whatever.
Yeah, or some people just don't send it at all, and then all of their comments are just crazy. Like, you're a fucking scammer piece of shit, and I'm like, you're just cool with that? Like, I mean, that's crazy. I always message those people. Some people go crazy in the comments, like off the bat, because they don't think you're going to respond to them. And I'm like, if you would have just like DM'd me, I would have sorted this out like easily. But yeah, a lot of like big artist merch, I notice they're like for a t-shirt, it's like, expect this in 10 to 12 weeks. And I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you hand sewing it yourself? Mr. Travis Scott?
Yeah, for real. I'm like the same way. I would not be able to like see all that and just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this again on the next release and make people wait like this long, because it's like I get insecure when I make people wait for anything, like even a reasonable amount. I'm like, fuck, I hope they're not gonna be like super pissed off or whatever.
At a certain point you gotta just like you have to do some level of like disassociation, I guess, because like I can't do anything. Like I'm not making them. I swear if I had them, I would send them to you right away, you know? But as long as like you talk to people about stuff, I feel like most of the time it goes well, at least for me. Like people understand. They just don't like when people drop some shit and then they just kind of drop off the face of the earth. Like while it's being made, they don't say anything and they're just like, wait for it. But then again, once the product comes in, I feel like people's mind switches instantly, and they're just right back on it. It's crazy.
Especially if it's like someone that gives them like value in being like, I have this, because right away they're on the story 100%. Like, yo, like I love fucking this guy, like check it out, and they're like posting the box, the boomerang or something. Like,
yeah, exactly. Or if they can make some money off it, or like once they get it, it's kind of what it's come to. That's some things. But there's a lot of people that, you know, buy shit just because, like, I feel like people who buy my shit are just buying it because they like it, and that's kind of cool. Like as like an artist, rather than like as a brand, you can buy stuff. And I mean, people have bought stuff from me, and then I see it go like immediately like on Grailed, like a 1-of-1 piece I do, and I'm like, that's cool, but I don't think you're gonna get that much for it, dog. Like I'm gonna be honest, like you're not getting $700 for that hat.
Yeah.
But I mean, you bought it from me, so I appreciate that. But
yeah. What I guess throughout like when your career and everything and all the stuff you've made is all said and done, what's the kind of stuff you most want to be remembered for, just as Gavin South, the artist?
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to be seen as like an artist, I guess, or like a like doing a lot of things and not just like a brand or like a shoe maker, because I feel like I do a lot more than that. So like the animation stuff is big, and I think it's just adds different levels and layer, like how I feel like I always move on to another project like some people can drop stuff and then they keep restocking and redropping it, which I should do more, but I feel like as an artist, I just like to move on to the next thing and just bringing more stuff. So I hope people remember me for not a one-trick pony, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's dope, man. And I think that will all work out, man. And I appreciate you coming on, and everyone check out Gavin stuff, Gavin South, Gilf Gavin on IG and all that. And thank you again, man. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This was awesome.
Hell yeah. Peace out, everybody.